Okay, so the AirTag tracker is doing way better than Apple was expecting. Michiko said that although Apple hasn't promoted the AirTags much since launch, the shipments have actually increased in 2022. For example, in 2021, when the AirTags launched, Apple sold 20 million units, which is a lot. But this year, in 2022, and the year is not even over, they sold 35 million, so almost doubling what they sold in 2021. And you know, it makes sense. This is Apple's most affordable product that is not a phone case. This costs $29. And Michiko says that if this trend continues and customers tend to buy more and more AirTags, Apple will be launching a second generation model. So what could they do? What could they change with a second generation? Well, since we don't really have any leaks on the designs and the features, we took this opportunity to design our very own concepts and different AirTag models. So we designed not one, but 5, and we also 3D printed them to give you guys an idea of what Apple could do with the second generation AirTags. And this was honestly such a fun project to work on. So the first design that we made is, well, the AirTag 2, the direct successor to the original AirTag. So what we changed here is that we made the design essentially flat. This was inspired by the look of a coin. So we still have glossy plastic on the top and then stainless steel on the back. And the reason why we made it like this is because the back is no longer removable like it used to. And that's because the battery is now built into the AirTag, so it's not removable anymore. This is how we managed to make the AirTag thinner than it was before. Now, we do expect that with a design like this, the battery should last for about 2 years on a single charge. By the way, the battery won't be rechargeable, so once it dies, you'll have to throw it away essentially, just like, you know, with tiles. But this also means that Apple can make way more money this way, because instead of you having to buy a replacement battery from a third party, you would now have to buy a new AirTag directly from Apple. And honestly, I think that's fine. As long as you have a battery that lasts for like 2 years, I don't think a lot of people would have issues with buying another AirTag after that. So what use cases would you have with the second gen AirTag? Well, basically just like now. So that means you can put it in backpacks, luggages, even keys if you have accessories such as this one. Although one problem with a redesign like this is that you will have to buy new accessories in case you already own some of them for the first gen. And of course that this new design also means that we could see some extra features over the first gen, such as a more water-resistant design, since the entire unit will be sealed now, so if you drop it in water, it will be fine. Of course, that you won't be able to track it in water. And I think that it would also make sense for Apple to upgrade the speaker now that we have more internal space for it. In terms of the price, I don't expect this to change at all, so it will likely be the same $29 as the current AirTags. But of course, with the option to engrave it for free, like you can now with emojis, characters, names, and so on. Okay, now the second design that we made, this is what we call the AirTag Sticky. And the idea is that it is very similar to the tile sticker. So a tracker that has a sticky pad on the back and that you can attach to basically any device that you want to track. Also, I'm expecting the sticky surface to be strong enough, but not too strong so that it damages your devices. Apple will very likely have some instructions on how to remove it from an item. A tile, for example, requires you to use a hairdryer. Now, when it comes to the design, this is mostly the same as the first design, so the regular AirTag second gen, but of course with a sticky pad on the back. You can also see that it does have a stainless steel ring as opposed to the full stainless steel back of the second gen. Same battery as the regular AirTag 2, so that means 2 years, and the battery is not rechargeable or removable. So what sort of use cases would you have with the AirTag Sticky? Well, we think that it would be for tracking a bike, an electric scooter, maybe even a drone, maybe some expensive camera gear, or inside of a glasses case, or on a TV remote, or even on a PlayStation controller. In terms of any extra features over the regular model, not really. And we also expect the price to be the same as the regular model with the same engraving options. Okay, then design number 3 is what we call the AirTag card, and this is something entirely new. This is essentially an AirTag in the shape of a card that you would then put in your wallet in order for you to, to be able to track your wallet. In terms of the design, this is crazy thin. This is the thinnest AirTag version. It's kind of like 2 credit cards stacked on top of each other, but it's actually way more than that. So we gave this a very premium design, essentially aluminum on the front, and then glossy plastic on the back, and then you can also see the AirTag branding, absolutely beautiful. So what about the battery? Well, essentially this will be a super thin battery cell, non-replaceable and non-rechargeable. And it would make a lot of sense for it to last for longer, probably something like 3 years. Now, if that sounds a bit too unrealistic, this is the Tile Slim, and it's basically the same idea, in a very similar thickness, and this also lasts for 3 years. So what sort of use cases would you have for this? Well, like I said, this is, essentially a wallet tracker, but you could also have it inside a passport holder, basically anywhere where you need a flat tracker that slots in. So what sort of extra features should you expect on top of the standard AirTag? Well, I think that it would make a lot of sense for Apple to merge this card with the actual Apple Card, and in that case have a single card for both your payments and also as a tracker for your wallet. And in terms of the price, something like this would very likely be more expensive, probably around $49 compared to $29. Of course, you could also engrave your name on the back instead of AirTag, change it to your name or something else. Fun fact, Apple already has a wallet of their own, this one, which does support Find My functionality, but it is very basic. Essentially, it has an NFC chip, and when it disconnects from your iPhone would simply tell you that, oh, you left it there, but it won't have any sort of active tracking. Next up, we have the AirTag Card Sticky. The idea was to have an AirTag card that you can stick on devices such as a laptop and then track it. So in terms of the overall design, we made it as the Apple Card, but just in a more squared out form factor. So it is a bit more than half the size of the AirTag card. It's also not as premium as the AirTag card, so this is just made out of plastic. And then of course that on the back, we have that sticky pad. Now in terms of battery life, it is the same thickness as the AirTag card, but since it is overall smaller, it will likely last for less, so 2 years instead of 3. And again, the battery is not removable nor rechargeable. So what sort of use cases would you have for something like this? Well, it would be very useful to have for Android tablets, for example, if you just want to track them, or on a laptop, like I said, you can just stick it on the back, or even on the bottom. Most laptops have feet that are high enough to allow for this, and this thing is quite thin. You don't really need this for Apple Silicon Macs because you can already track those offline, but for anything older or any work computers, then this thing would actually come in handy. Or you could also use it on Kindles or even on an expensive book that you want to keep track of. Anything with a flat surface, essentially. Now, in terms of extra features over the AirTag card, I think the main advantage is being able to place it inside more items, just because it's smaller and more compact. In fact, you could even place it inside a laptop technically, as most laptops do have enough space to allow for this. Now, in terms of the price, this is likely going to be in between the regular AirTag and the card, so something like $39 maybe. And of course, you could also engrave it with anything on the top. And then at number 5, we have probably the most unique one, which is the AirTag lock. And the whole idea is that this is a smart lock that can also be tracked. So in terms of the design, this is the most advanced AirTag by far. We have a full metal build made out of stainless steel. And I think if anything, this would also come in 2 colors, likely silver and also space gray. I think this could also come in multiple sizes. It would make sense for a small and a large one to exist, or even 3 sizes. Now, in terms of the battery life, this thing is huge, but the way we designed it is actually with a battery that lasts for less than the other models. So just a 1-year battery life, but then one that is rechargeable if you're using an Apple Watch charger. So what sort of use cases would you have for something like this? Well, I think the biggest one would be locking and tracking your luggage, your bags, essentially anything that you travel with, maybe even a suitcase. In fact, I do believe that Apple will be targeting this to anyone who travels. So I think it would make a lot of sense for us to see some vibrant colors. I think the iMac colors would look amazing on something like this. So what about extra features over the standard AirTags? Well, the way we designed this was actually with a Touch ID sensor on the back, so that you can use this to unlock the lock. There's also a custom chip inside that would handle all of that. And because of that, this thing will be the most expensive AirTag by far, something like $99. Of course, if you want to engrave it, those options would be available too. So having said all of this, I think the real question is, what if Apple doesn't actually release these different shapes for the AirTag? Is there a chance that we could see these from a different manufacturer, but with Find My support? And to be honest, that is actually a possibility. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a program called Find My Certified, which was introduced when the AirTags came out. This essentially lets tracker manufacturers like Chipolo integrate Find My into their products. In fact, Chipolo even sells the Chipolo card Spot, which is very similar to the AirTag card that we made, and it works with Find My today. So I guess if you want to get your hands on something close to this, you already can. So I think the future is definitely promising, even if Apple does not create these different AirTag models. And if they do, I think the most likely release date would be 2023. That would be 2 years from when the original AirTags were introduced. But yeah, let me know, what do you guys think? If you have enjoyed our concepts and our 3D models, a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated. Check out our Shorts channel for quick and fun tech content. I'm Daniel, to ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.